week's Your Manchester. I am here alone as Michelle is out with the bumblebees. Quite literally, in every sense, she's getting some honey. Blap, blap. So we are here bringing you a lovely show. On today's show, we are bringing you backstage interviews from a lovely play called The Pride. We're also talking to Les Dennis, Conor McIntyre and the gorgeous Mr. Gareth Gates as we delve into Cinderella, Manchester's finest pantomime. And we're also interviewing the Beatles. Go figure that out. In the meantime, though, we've got our first guest in the room. Now, he's the youngest councillor, everybody, with here in Manchester, and his name is Mr. Jon Lyons. How are you?
Hi, I'm very good, thank you.
How long have you been councilling for, then?
Only since May, so I was elected in May. I decided I wanted to run last year, and then the Labour Party have internal processes.
What made you want to be part of being an MP?
Yeah, well,
why?
Yeah, so I grew up in the poorest communities in Manchester, Newton Heath, North East Manchester, and community activists and campaigners, when I was speaking to them, they said, oh, you'd make a great local councillor, and I thought, okay then, yeah, sure, I'll think about it. I spoke to my parents, and they were really convincing, and then, really pushed for it. I did want to make some changes, so. And
why Labour?
Oh, well, I am a socialist. Mm-hmm. I'm left-wing. I'm also democratic, though, and I believe in democracy, so.
Explain what left-wing means to those that don't quite get that.
It's fine. So, I believe in equality, I believe in fairness, I believe in opportunity for all. I believe that the Labour Party is the only party of the left that will be able to do that, so.
So, you do believe in equality, because one of the things that you've been campaigning for is equal toilets, isn't it?
Yes,
toilets
yes.
for either gender.
Yes, so with my other hat in Salford, we managed to work with the university, Salford University, to get a gender neutral toilet in every building, and by next month, every building across campus will have a gender neutral toilet. We started first in the Students' Union, and then we've rolled out to all universities. I'm hoping to work with developers here in Manchester to ensure any development has gender neutral toilets as well, because I think it's really important to be really inclusive.
And what do you say to those people that think that they should still have a male and female toilet?
So I think people really need to ask why they need these facilities, and why they can't have an option that is for everyone. It's just a toilet. Everyone has a gender neutral toilet in their houses. They just don't understand why they don't realise. I mean, I can kind of understand if people are from backgrounds and they don't ever question things, but I think it's our jobs as campaigners to make sure they do question it and they do think about it.
So you're quite a big fan of Jeremy Corbyn then?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has really spoken out about things. He's really mobilised and energised a lot of young people, and that's something I really get behind. And
can you dance like Theresa May?
I can dance better than Theresa May.
Did you find that a bit cringeworthy?
I mean, obviously I'm not a conservative. I think a lot of the things that she's done aren't, very moral and acceptable. And I think dancing was a bit of a distraction to kind of allow some of the things that she's done to go sort of unquestioned and sort of let the public be distracted.
And do you think Labour's distracting?
I think obviously we have agendas, we have issues that we need to push out, but I think we're fighting for working people. I think we're fighting for middle class families as well. We're really pushing it out there.
And you're at university at the moment?
Yes.
And what are you studying?
Politics. So.
Politics?
Yes.
Well, that's quite appropriate, then, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the goal then? Because you've already done what most young people starting off in politics want to do.
So I really want to go into campaigning. So I currently work for a Students' Union, a charity. I really want to go into that field and sort of working to lobby institutions, especially anchor institutions, to change their policies and change their practices to be more inclusive and be, fair.
So I've got to ask you just before we go, what are big belly bins, please?
Big belly bins are an invention that I love. Big belly bins. So they're massive bins, it's in the name, but they're smart bins. So they have a solar panel on top, and they send out a sensor once they're almost full to the waste collectors so that they know when it's full, so we don't have overflowing bins. And it's also more hygienic. It holds much more waste than our normal bins.
But do they cost a lot, though?
They do cost a lot. However, in terms of man hours, in terms of saving money, in terms of constantly having to empty the smaller bins, it is cost effective. A lot of other cities in the UK have adopted these. Myself and other backbenchers really lobby.
And where does the money come from to bring these new bins in?
Well, the money comes from development, from Section 106, from all sorts of things.
Okay, so not from my back pocket?
Well, no, unfortunately not.
That's not unfortunate at all. Anyway, a big round of applause, please, for Councillor Jon Lyons. Woo! Right then, everybody, here we are. We finally come to your corner. I didn't even realise you had legs, to be honest.
I know.
You're looking good, though.
Amazing.
You're looking good. Have a sit down in your beanbag.
Thank you very much.
Make yourself
darling.
comfy. Do your soaps. Off you go.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hayley and welcome back to Soap Corner. Now we're going to kick off in Albert Square this week. Kat actually tries to convince Hayley to come away from the balcony. Martin is confused when Ross shows him a text from Ruby, and Dot is reassured by Dr. Legg, who actually reveals some very shocking news of his own. What will that be? Now we're going to come all the way back up north and we're going to go across the Pennines to Emmerdale, to the Dales. And on Friday, Bernice reaches a final decision. Will she end things with Daz? Rona is on the warpath and Jacob relishes Mayor's attention. Now, usually I just cover 2 soaps per week, as you probably know, but I couldn't actually finish this episode without mentioning Coronation Street's current storyline with Sinead about her having cervical cancer. Now, on Friday, she's given the diagnosis and she tells Ken her devastating news. She is actually below the age when she would automatically be offered the test. But it also highlights how important it is for women to have smear tests, and so many people miss them, mainly due to embarrassment. I do hope that this storyline will help to highlight how important they are. Well done, Corrie. Now, before I go, do you have a favourite soap storyline? Send me a tweet. You probably know my tweet now, my @name as it were, @HeyKate, and I'll try and include you sometime in one of my segments. That's it from me, and I will catch you next time. Bye.
Well, thank you, Hales. How lovely. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Good storylines going on, isn't there? Loads of good storylines. It's all going on the soaps. I can't wait till Christmas. I love a good Christmas fight over in the soaps. Anyway, there's a play this week at Hope Mill Theatre, and it's a beautiful play. It's done the rounds already for many, many years, and it's a play filled with heart, with angst, and, well, with time travel, as we found out as we went to the rehearsals of The Pride. We've just been watching a couple of scenes from a lovely play called The Pride. Tell us about it.
So for Pride, it's by Alexi K. Campbell. It was written in 2008, and it's an absolutely stunning play that both Dan and I absolutely fell in love with. That deals with, I guess, a love triangle between 3 characters in 2 parallel timelines.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the 1950s, when it's a married heterosexual couple whose lives sort of come unravelled when a young man enters their life.
Let's talk about your character, because he's another one that's a bit spooky throughout all this, isn't he? Tell us about your character.
So I play Philip. Philip actually appears in both time periods. So in the 50s, he is not a very happily married man, and he ends up having an affair with another man. And the whole of the play, he's toiling with his own self in a sense. He doesn't really know who he is, and he can't really come to terms with it, which is really sad.
I'm Simon. I'm playing Oliver in The Pride. Oliver, playing 2 versions of Oliver. I'm playing the 1950s version of him, and then the alternate modern day version of him.
And how are you making them different then?
So we did try and toy around with like accents and stuff like that, but we found that modern day Oliver sort of does come from quite an affluent sort of family and whatnot. So it wasn't so much a case of accent, but more sort of attitudes towards them.
What did you like about this piece then? What made you choose it?
The style of the piece, the way the 2 timelines unravel and merge into each other. But also there's a 4th character in there.
Mm-hmm.
This 4th actor plays 3 different roles.
Playing a character called The Man, a character called Peter, who's a Lads Mag editor, and a doctor.
Right.
Set in the 1950s, the doctor.
And how are you making each of the different characters totally different?
Well, one's a male prostitute, and Peter's a Lads Mag, really lads sort of guy, and the doctor is sort of 1950s, so it's very sort of upper class, like what you saw before.
And is that something you like doing, playing lots of different characters in the same play?
I really enjoy playing different characters, being able to get into playing different personalities. So I just love doing it because you're always someone else, you know, especially in the same show.
It's quite nice to see a script that is not necessarily coming out sweet, but seeing how far we've come, but also saying that we're not all sorted. We're not all still okay these days.
Yep.
Life isn't the easiest it's ever going to be. We still have challenges and things that we have to face up to.
What I find really, really interesting with the piece is it's not a case of the two different characters. Obviously they're the same person, same age, in two alternate times, but they're not so much different people, it's just how society has shaped that person. All 50s Oliver, he is much more of a romantic.
Right.
But then you get modern day Oliver, who's a massive, massive cynic. And I feel like it is society who puts that on you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, back then, everything was so secretive that, you know, we had the hope that there could be a better life out there. Now we have this complete freedom. And do we take that freedom for granted? Do you know what I mean? Do we take advantage of it? And how that shapes you as a person?
And it's already selling out quite fast, isn't it?
We've had a fantastic response to putting on a hotel. I think a bit of it is because it has gone on West End Broadway and it has done a tour around the UK, and it left such a great impression as well. It's so strong. There seems to be such a need for this sort of play as well at the moment. We think it's really resonating, and we're fortunate to have Hope Mill as a venue.
Well, let's talk about that sound first of all, because that is as spooky as all hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very ambient music, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of looking at sort of horror, sort of ambient noise, sort of comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to listen to.
It's very cleverly done, even though from what we've just seen, it goes very dark, but it's got like, it's almost buttered over with a lightness, yeah.
It is. I mean, I think people do need to be prepared to see some very, very dark scenes, come to see it, but there is, you aren't leaving the place at the end going, oh my God, I feel destroyed, you know, or anything. You will, hopefully, I mean, I think it's very likely that people will leave the theatre feeling moved, definitely enlightened on certain subjects, and hopefully they leave hopeful, which is what it's all about.
And it's always a nice way to leave the theatre as well, isn't it?
It's hopeful, yeah.
Yes.
It's not all tied up in a nice bow, though.
Oh, is it not?
Maybe not.
Look at you with your cliffhangers.
We'll see.
I love it.
As a theatre company, a big thing for us is that audiences, especially audiences who identify as LGBTQ+, that they see the themes and issues and they go away and they discuss it. So actually, as well as the play we're performing, we're also producing a short booklet to programme, which is free and has articles from academics and artists responding to the themes within the play.
Right.
And we'll be doing a series of short online films as well, interviewing people discussing themes within the play as well. So absolutely, we want people to talk about these themes.
We have got to close this week's show, everybody, so I will simply say make sure you check us out on Tuesday as we're back with loads more. In the meantime, thanks for watching Your Manchester.